Oh, here's my mask from yesterday. I was wondering where that went. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Friday. I have a couple things for all of you at the top. Today, the President and the Vice President met with governors to discuss the worsening 2021 wildfire season and ongoing efforts to strengthen prevention, preparedness, and response activities. This was a follow-up to the meeting the President convened last month with cabinet officials, governors from Western states, and private sector partners. During today's event, the President highlighted the heroism of our firefighters who undertake dangerous work to keep Americans safe, and he discussed the actions his administration is taking to improve emergency preparedness and keep Americans safe. The President and the Vice President then received an update from the governors about the situation on the ground. They discussed what their administration can do to support state and local response efforts and ensure the federal government's response is as quick and effective as possible. Driven by extreme heat, prolonged drought, and the changing climate, as well as decades of forest management decisions, the 2021 wildfire season continues to outpace the devastating 2021 season in terms of large fires to date. Already this year, FEMA has approved 20 fire management assistance grants to help states pay for the cost of fighting these fires. The President has been receiving regular reports on how wildfires are impacting communities across the country, and he will continue to closely monitor the severity of this situation. Cuba meeting today that the President's having. Since the historic protest we witnessed in Cuba on July 11th, the President has been watching the events closely. As we have stated before, he's made clear that Cuba is led by a failed and repressive regime, and that communism is a universally failed ideology. That's why from the start the President has said that addressing this moment was a priority for the administration. We have said many times that Cuban Americans are the best ambassadors for freedom and prosperity in Cuba. As part of that, today the President will host Cuban American leaders at the White House to discuss the demonstrations and the administration's response. In addition, we also announced yesterday that the President is nominating Cuban American Frank Mora to be the next U.S. ambassador to the Organization of American States, a vital forum where we have and will continue to regularly urge the countries of the hemisphere to support the fundamental freedoms of the Cuban people. And I know you love these. This is of our vaccination update. They're so great. We're always happy to share them with you. So today we recorded over 500,000 new shots in arms, the highest number since 1st of July. And the average number of people getting their first shots each day is up 30% over the past week alone. And this is the third week that states with the highest cases have the highest vaccination rates. Every day, Americans are making the choice to get vaccinated. This is an encouraging sign, but we need everyone across the country to have the conversation with someone they know who is unvaccinated about getting the shot. This is how we will stop the spread of the Delta variant and, as we all know, save lives. Finally, I have a quick preview of the week ahead for all of you. The next week, this next coming week, the President will continue engaging with members of Congress to pass the bipartisan infrastructure deal, which will deliver historic infrastructure investments that will drive economic growth and create good paying middle-class jobs. Also next week, the President will meet with Dr. Eric Lander, his science advisor and director of the Office of Science and Technology Policy, about his plan for preparing for future pandemics. On Tuesday, the President will deliver remarks on the administration's progress delivering vaccines to the world to fight this pandemic globally. On Friday, we will deliver remarks on the jobs report. As you all know, it's the first Friday of the month. And lastly, President Biden will then travel to Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, where he will remain over the weekend. Alex, please take it away.
Sure. So I know we have a hard out at 3:10, so I have a couple quick questions on Congress. First, the eviction moratorium. Lawmakers are scrambling to find a legislative solution, but Speaker Pelosi said today that she'd like to see the CDC extended. I know you all have cited the Supreme Court decision as the reason Congress needs to deal with it, but why not just extend it, have that legal fight, and give Congress a little bit more room to work?
So as we've stated, Alex, and to your point about Pelosi, the Supreme Court said it could only be extended with congressional authorization. That was their decision. That's how they were able to strike it down, and that's what they said needed to happen. And so this bill that Pelosi is asking for, this would meet that requirement if successful. So this is important. It's incredibly important to move forward. And so the administration is going to work together with leaders in Congress on potential avenues to extend the eviction moratorium to protect these vulnerable renters and their families. We understand how critical that is, how important that is. It has been a lifeline to so many Americans here. So this is a public health concern, as you can imagine, that we think should be supported by both Republicans and Democrats. So we support the Speaker's effort, and we will do everything that we can to move this forward.
On voting rights, can you tell us any more information about how the President's meeting with Schumer and Pelosi on the sort of efforts around voting rights?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, go ahead. I'm so sorry. Go ahead. That was it? Okay. So, as you stated, the President and the Vice President are hosting Speaker Pelosi and Leader Schumer at the White House today, later this afternoon. And they're doing this because they want to make sure that they continue having the conversation on protecting the sacred right to vote, because it's such it's an incredible priority for them. The President and the Speaker, the Leader Schumer, are regularly in touch about this, but they wanted to have this meeting in person to talk about the next step. This is both personal to the President, as we've talked about many times, having fought for voting rights his entire life. He spoke about it in Pennsylvania not too long ago, just a couple of weeks ago, and he's going to just continue having those conversations.
And then one more on the CDC document that was just leaked. The Washington Post obtained a CDC PowerPoint that suggests that the situation surrounding the Delta variant is more dire than the administration has characterized it. I wanted to read a few quotes from it. It said, quote, "Given higher transmissibility and current vaccine coverage, universal masking is essential to reduce transmission of the Delta variant. Quote, Delta variant breakthrough infections may be as transmissible as unvaccinated cases. And quote, risk of infection is reduced threefold in the vaccinated population." And so President Biden has repeated over and over that this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated, but this PowerPoint seems to raise questions about that. He's also promised to level up with the American people, so his comments yesterday, was he being completely upfront about the challenge from the Delta variant? This PowerPoint would suggest it's a little bit more dire than he laid it out to be. And why wasn't that PowerPoint made public? Why did it have to be to the public? And then lastly, I mean, why aren't we seeing universal recommendations for universal masking? Why is it just in areas of high transmission when the CDC seems to be suggesting universal masking is needed?
Okay, Alex, that was a lot. No, I appreciate the question. It's actually a very important question, and we need to, and I'm happy to address all of them. So since May, I just wanted to step back a little bit. Since May, the CDC and the administration have been crystal clear about the increased risk of the Delta variant in our pandemic response. And so I just want to run through a couple of examples, because this is such an important moment that we're in fighting this pandemic. So in May, out of the concern of the spread of Delta, we restricted travel to India, where it was growing. That is something that we did in May. And so that, as you know, that was many months ago at this point, or a couple months ago at this point. In the month of June, doctors from the admin blitzed local constituency and national media with over 400 media interviews with a clear message. Delta is a serious threat, and getting vaccinated is the clear solution. So that was in the month of June, for the month of June. Throughout June, the President, Jeff Zients, and our medical experts spoke dozens of times to the threat of Delta the threat that Delta poses. On July 4th, the president made clear that COVID-19, quote, has not been vanquished and Delta is a powerful variant. This is what the president said on July 4th. And in light of recent reporting, it is worth noting that Dr. Walensky said 8 days ago that the Delta variant is the most infectious respiratory disease she has seen in the last 20 years, her 20 years of her career. Our message has always been clear throughout. We need more people to get vaccinated to stop the spread of this variant, and so we have to continue to make that effort. Vaccinated and unvaccinated people infected with Delta have higher viral loads, meaning more virus in their body than with previous variants. The last two did not have that, and so this is what we're seeing in the Delta. High viral loads mean you are more likely to spread it. So in the rare occasions that vaccinated people get Delta in a breakthrough infection, they may be contagious, and this is what we heard from CDC this week. And so the most important takeaway, and I want to be really clear about this because this is critical for all of you who report about this and for those who are watching, we should have, the takeaway is we should have from this guidance and any follow-up reporting is actually pretty simple. We need more people to get vaccinated. That's the answer. We need more people to get vaccinated. That's if we want to stop the spread of this variant and avoid mutations, we can. So we just need to get more people vaccinated, and the good news is that the vaccines work. So we got to get out there and make sure people get vaccinated.
Corinne, the president